Hey friends, it's Laurie. Thanks for stopping by. Today, I'm duping 3 of Joanna Gaines' Magnolia home decor pieces. I'm starting my coffee bar sign by using 2 12-inch chunky wood slats that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. I need 2 because my sign is longer than 12 inches and they measure just about 1.5 inches in height. There are some small imperfections on the wood, so I'm using a piece of Dollar Tree sandpaper and I'm lightly sanding them down along with removing the UPC label. Now that my 2 pieces are sanded, I'm going to place them aside, and I'm using 2 packages of wooden letters from the Dollar Tree and spelling out the words coffee bar. With my 2 words spelled out, I'm going to find the spacing of the letters on my wooden slats. I measured roughly 1 inch in from the end and started my word coffee, and then allowed about 2 inches for the word bar. I gave myself another inch on the end and then marked where to cut the slat. I cut my shorter piece to size, and I also ran a small blade down the center about 1/4 inch deep on both pieces. I'm attaching the 2 pieces together using my Starbond thick glue. It's my go-to glue for all my wood projects, and it sets up super quick. If you'd like to check it out, I actually have the company linked below along with a coupon code. I'm using a piece of painter's tape to help hold the wood together as the glue sets up. The glue set up in about 5 minutes, but because the wood isn't perfect, you can still kind of see the seam. So for my dupe, I'm going to use some white acrylic paint and give my sign a complete coat. While my base is drying, I'm going to match the Magnolia lettering and paint my 2 words coffee bar with some black acrylic paint. While they're drying, I can still see the seam on the base, so I'm going to use some of this Dollar Tree buffalo check ribbon and add on an accent. I'm wrapping it completely around the base and then cutting it to size. Then using my glue gun, I'm attaching it into place. To add the word coffee bar to the base of my sign, I'm first placing on my C and my R to get my spacing, and making sure to leave about 1 inch on each end. To attach all the letters permanently in place, I'm going to use my E6000. I'm adding a small amount to the opening on the top and then attaching my letters. As I'm adding the glue and the letters, the opening is so shallow that they kind of move a bit, so I just had to readjust them, but within a couple of seconds they set up. When I was done, I went back to the Magnolia site so I could compare prices, and believe it or not, this coffee bar sign was sold out. I believe theirs was somewhere in the 20s, and I did change mine up a bit, and mine cost about $5 using Dollar Tree supplies. Today's video is being hosted by Brandi from The DIY Struggle, and she's brought together a talented group of crafters who are duping through the holidays. This week's dupe is Joanna Gaines' Magnolia, and I will have the playlist listed below in my description. To enter into the $100 Visa card giveaway, visit each crafter who is duping Magnolia. Then answer their hidden giveaway questions somewhere in the video and leave your answer below in their comments. And I'll have my question hidden in my video as well. The last day to enter is November 23rd, 2021, and the winner will be announced on November 25th. If you're enjoying my video, please consider clicking that little red subscribe button below and leaving me a thumbs up. To start my song sheet dupe, I'm actually starting with a very old picture that my daughter Briana drew when she was young. She's now 28 years old and a teacher, and she also has a YouTube channel called Coffee Breaks with Bri, which I will link below in case you'd like to check it out. And in this picture, if you notice, we both don't have a nose. The reason I'm sharing this picture is I remembered I put it away a long time ago, but I knew the frame would be perfect for this project. I removed the picture and the backing, and then when I removed the glass, I noticed it really needed a good cleaning. When I was done, I found the exact same Joy to the World music sheet that I'm duping from Magnolia free on Pinterest. I downloaded it and I printed it out on an 8.5 by 11 lightweight cardstock. I trimmed it to fit and then placed it in my 9 by 11 frame. If you'd like to dupe one of these for your home, I'll have the free Pinterest link below in my description. I made my Magnolia music sheet dupe for free, and on the Magnolia site, their cost is $174. They do have a much larger version. Theirs is 2 feet by 3 feet, which I like my smaller version because it fits nicely in my home and doesn't take up that much space. I'm starting my Magnolia red berries and Pinecones wreath using a $3.99 18-inch wreath from Michaels. And my giveaway question is, do you prefer coffee, tea, both, or neither? I'm going to start pulling apart my branches and fluffing them out and removing the hang tag. I basically live in a pine forest, and I picked these pine cones up, but they're a little bit too small for this project, so I'm going to be using some pine cones that I bought at the Dollar Tree a while back. I'm using 6 pine cones on my wreath, so I'm just removing them from the stems. I'm going to place my pine cones on my wreath to get my spacing. You'll notice that I'm leaving a little bit of space on the top, and that's because I'm going to change my wreath up just a bit. I absolutely love Joanna Gaines and her Magnolia line, but her wreath was just a little bit plain for me, so I'm going to change it up a bit, but I'll show you both of them when I'm done. With all my pine cones in place, I'm just using my glue gun to attach them. For the red berries on the wreath, these Dollar Tree stem berries will work perfect. I have these berries left over from a project that I did a while back, so I'm going to be using these on my wreath. And like the pine cones, I'm placing my berries on for spacing before I attach them. Once they're all in place, I'm now adding some hot glue to the bottom of the stems and attaching them in between each of the pine cones. Here is the Hearth and Hand Magnolia wreath from Target, and it's $34.99. It's beautiful and was my inspiration, and I'm going to continue on with mine. I had this sprig of pip berries in my stash, so I'm just going to cut off some of the little clusters. And to add a little pop of color, I'm going to add one under each of the berries. Once I had them all in place, I then used my hot glue gun to attach them. I then went around and fluffed them up a bit. I'm going to add on a bow using some of this buffalo check ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I gave myself about a 10-inch tail and then made a simple bow. I dovetailed my ribbon tails, which is super easy. You just fold the ribbon in half and cut away at an angle. I placed it on the top of the wreath in the open space between the two pine cones. Then, using my glue gun, I just attached it into place. And when I'm done, I'm attaching a cluster of berries in the center of my bow. And the last accent on my wreath are these leaves that came with my berries. I'm going to add one under each pine cone. And with that, my red berries and pine cones magnolia wreath is complete with a little twist. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you had fun making these magnolia dupes with me. And if you're new to my channel and you're thinking, hey, I'd like to come back and hang out with her again, don't forget to click that little red subscribe button below. I'll see you all very soon. Bye, everybody.